Hey everybody, it's Chris, and today we're going to talk about throwing in the woods. Now, I'm actually using this video as a test. I'd really like to make this into a series of videos about playing in the woods, but we'll kind of see how this one goes and play it by ear from there. Now, I'm an advanced level player, fairly low advanced level player, but I have played a lot in the woods, and it's where I love to play. I learned how to play in Kenai, Alaska on a shorter course that demanded really accurate tee shots. So it's a version of golf I love. And here we have Lapping Park in Clarksville, Indiana, and it's very similar, longer, but that wooded golf mentality of throw an accurate shot, stay in the fairway, you might have to recover, if you throw a bad shot you get punished, etc. That's a version of golf I love. So we're going to use Lapping Park to set those examples. In this video I'm going to have 3 parts. All of these could be separate videos all by themselves easily. Trying to cram some stuff together to get the conversation started. So in part 1, I'm going to play the first 5 holes. You're going to get a thought process, you're going to see some good shots, some bad shots, some recovery shots, etc. Just to get a feel for the woods golf. Part 2 is going to be recovery. I'm going to throw a couple bad tee shots. You're going to see recovery from those tee shots, hopefully. Just trying to limit the damage, thought process and limiting the damage. Part 3 is going to be focusing on a par 4 in the woods. It's hole 5. It requires 2 good shots, and you're going to see a couple examples, one of having to recover, and then 2 of how the difference just a few feet can make on attacking a hole. So those are going to be the 3 topics. Please give me feedback. I want to know what you think. I want to know how I can do this better so that maybe this is a topic we can keep going through. So enjoy the video, and I'm going to do a little bit of introduction to each part. Alright, so part 1 is just let's play a little bit in the woods. Some tee shots, starting on hole 1, 311 feet, dogleg right. This is a pretty heavy dogleg, especially for a backhand, and playing 2 off the first tee is normal, which is good because that shot was terrible. The second time, just trying to make sure I hit the gap with a slower disc that can still get there, and just put myself in position to score, which is good. This is a longer putt, but sometimes those go in for you. Hole 2, about 280, fairly straightforward, just a slight right turn. Here you're going to see I put it a little bit low, but there are a lot of leaves, so it's going to skitter up there. You're actually going to see my disc on the ground. I'm putting from farther away. Sometimes putts just don't drop. Hole 3 looks pretty straightforward, but there is one guard tree in the middle of the fairway that you're going to have to flex around. So you're going to see I'm going to tip the disc just a little bit, get it to try to push straight, and it's going to fade left. And I'm actually going to get lucky. You're going to see a stop screen here. My foot is right up against that trunk. If I'd missed that tree, I'd probably be 30 feet down the hill. So kind of got saved. Hole 4 is a tricky par 4. That right side fairway actually doesn't exist anymore. The tee was backed up a little bit. So I'm going to go toward the AM tee here, just try to put it on the tee pad. And I was close, but I missed by about 4 feet, which is going to put that tee sign right in play. And because it was there, I turned the disc over just a little bit too hard to avoid it, and I'm going to end up in the woods. Now we're talking about the woods, so here's a great example. There is no real gap, so I'm just looking how can I get this disc up and over. And I didn't get it to turn over or to drift enough, and it ends up cut rolling. But again, put yourself in position to score. Sometimes the putts go in. Hole 5 is going to be the focus of part 3 of this video, but for now you're going to see the dogleg left, and then a fairly tunneled shot, maybe corridor shot to the basket. Here you can see I'm just throwing a high shot around the corner to set up the straight shot to the basket that's straight ahead. I was pinched up against the tree. I did foot fault, but just trying to get something flat up there. Now let's go to a quick putting tip. Okay, so that truth shot, maybe 18 feet down the hill. Uphill putts are ones I struggle with. Get your chin up, and make sure you extend your arm up toward the basket, like in between the chains, so your release point is still high. Almost always hit low. Let's see how it goes. I mentioned I tend to hit low, so here's the real first attempt. It was definitely a clang. But that's part 1. 5 holes through the woods, you saw some trouble, and it's going to happen in the woods. But let's talk now about what to do when things go wrong. In part 2, we're recovering from a bad shot. It's going to happen in the woods, hate to tell you, everybody throws bad shots in the woods. How you recover really helps save your score. So in the first example, what I'm going to be looking for is a high percentage root to get me within range to save strokes. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be parked or even within 25 feet, but I'm trying to get to a spot that gives me a chance to putt, a clear open space to putt. There were other routes to the basket that could have gotten me parked, but they were really low percentage throws. So looking for the route that gives me a high percentage to have a chance to get that putt. And the second one is very similar, but it's going to include a mechanical component. When you're pinched off by a lot of trees, which way can your body move the easiest and give you a higher percentage chance of functioning correctly? In this example, stretching out and just a short forehand gave me a lot better chance than any place I had for my backhand because of the number of trees. I couldn't get a smooth throw with my backhand. So stretching out and getting a forehand was a better option. So looking for a smooth route, looking for a smooth way to throw in the woods can really help. So here we go back to hole 1. This is that first throw I showed. It's going to get a series of kicks to the right. And I'm going to come back in another day and approximate about where it landed so we can try a wood shot. Now here you can see there are a couple of ways to the basket, but a lot of them are very clogged up, lots of trees. So what I chose was a forehand with a felon on this widest leftmost gap and trying just to skip it up to the basket to give myself a chance to putt. Even though I'm a predominant backhand player, you can see there are just a lot of trees in this backhand line. It's a very low percentage shot. So I took the forehand, make it or miss it, gave me a chance. Hole 2 is just a gentle turn to the right, but if you miss it, you can get kicked left into the woods, and as you're going to see, this is disc golf jail. Lots of little trees just forming up a wall with tiny gaps, and when I'm in situations like this, I'll frequently look for just a quick chop forehand, because I won't have to move my arm as much. It puts my hand in less danger of hitting a tree, so I can stretch out, find that little gap, push something up there. Even through that branch I got lucky. Whereas with the backhand I just need a little more space, and you're going to see this is really awkward, really clunky, and it's not going to get through. Part 3, we're going to look at hole 5 at Lapping Park. It's one of my favorite par 4s in the course. It starts out with a dogleg left or a right-hand backhand hyzer that sets up a straight shot to the pin. But that right-hand backhand hyzer is tricky because there are a bunch of trees at the corner that if you end up short of, birdie's out of play. And you're going to get to see me do that with the first throw. I'm going to be short in the corner and scramble. On the second and third throw, I'm going to make it around the corner, but you're going to see how much difference 10 feet can make. The felon ends up just a little bit short of where I wanted it, birdie's out of play. The escape is just long enough that I have a shot at it, and you're going to get me see me play from there. Let's start this par 4 of these examples with a shot that doesn't make it around the corner. Now you're going to see me put this disc high enough and wide enough. I actually thought this was going to give me a chance at the 3, but as it's coming around the corner it catches something and gets knocked down. And as you can see, I'm in a bad spot. The basket is actually behind the tree on the left, and the gap that I'm throwing through is actually pretty skinny, so the putter's fairly spiked. But the idea here was to get to the middle of the fairway, give myself a chance to get a putter at the basket or a mid to the basket, and that's what I ended up accomplishing. So that pitch out into the middle is what saved the putter here. The next example is going to be the difference that a few feet can make. In this case, maybe 10 feet. I'm going to throw 2 discs. The first up is a hybrid escape. I'm going to throw it fairly low. I didn't get quite as much power as I wanted on this, but it is going to get around the corner. And all I'm trying to do is get to the middle of the fairway, give myself a shot. The second throw is with a felon that I actually thought was going to be perfect, but it cut just a little bit short. And as you're going to see here, the felon ends up right on the tree in the middle left of the screen, whereas the hybrid felon is up on the right and more of the middle, and you're going to see that shot. So the felon is in a spot where I am just not going to have a throw to the basket without a miracle forehand, which I don't have. The escape sets up pretty nicely. That gut shot that you're seeing there really isn't as available as it looks. That would have been a really tricky hyzer flip throw. But the right side is actually pretty open. So here I threw in a truth. I'm trying to get something that'll settle nicely on the hill and just give me a chance to putt. And here's why I usually don't throw a wide rim here. As you can see, it's going to be coming down on hyzer on a hill anyway, so it's going to flare skip. Truth gives me a chance to putt, which I probably wouldn't take in a tournament. In a tournament, I'm probably throwing this shot unless I know it's a one-stroke game near the end. Here's where the escape ended up. It was easier on the distance, but that wider rim caused it to go down the hill. Just couldn't convert. That wraps up this throw through the woods, but I am thinking about doing others in the future. So if you like this one, found it informative or funny or whatever, please feel free to like it, share it, or even subscribe to the channel, and give feedback below on how I can do things differently or better. If you're curious about the picture, it's from Kenai Eagle Disc Golf Course in Kenai, Alaska, hole number 3. As always, thanks for watching.